Mafia: The Old Country received some harsh criticism before it was even released. Despite being a well-loved game series by many, including myself, by platinuming this game, I will not only have a shiny new Mafia Platinum trophy, but I will have the clarity on whether or not the criticism held any weight. Now, I love the Mafia game series and was not amongst those that were bashing the game upon release. In fact, this was one of my most personally anticipated games of the year. Since I've already platinumed all previous Mafias, I was eager to add this game to the collection. However, there will be no bias on my behalf, as I want this incredible game series to remain great, and if this game is not up to par, better it be highlighted now and we not suffer a repeat in the future. Oh my god, it's time! So excited. Okay, so we got some bonus items. I must remember to at least give them a go. So this is Enzo Tremori. I wasn't off to a good start as I did bump into a few glitches. Oh.
Our money somewhere safe. Come on.
What's he doing? What's going on? How long is he planning on doing that?
Get out of here.
I'm trying. This is a good start. What's going on? I can't go up. He's not going up. I hit him. Reload from last checkpoint. After making my way out of the mine, I engage in my first knife fight of many, and as you can see, I take to it like a duck to water. Then took off with any dignity I had left. First trophy. So far it seems really promising. I get what people were saying about it coming across a little bit Assassin's Creed like. It does have a different feel to it than the other Mafia games. Not necessarily a bad thing. So far it seems to be graphically great story so far. The movement feels okay. The combat's not too bad. I just wonder how much of the fight scenes are going to be knife attacks. To answer that question, a lot. And is it going to be repetitive? And to answer that question, yes. I'm actually going to stop it here.
Bruh.
I have not checked any of the trophies, and something's just occurred to me. I don't know if there are difficulty related trophies. I really don't want to have to keep playing the game again. I might just quickly check the trophy guide. I'm not too sure if there's going to be a lot of information on the trophy guides yet because it did only release days ago. I did actually buy this game on release day, but my recording and editing schedule did go a bit off track. But yeah, if I can save myself a playthrough, I'm gonna do it. Turns out there was in fact a trophy to complete the game on hard. So I started a new game and it only took around half an hour to catch up. Also, the hard difficulty is pretty forgiving, which I'm happy about. I really like the idea that your knife blunts when you use it and that you can use a whetstone to sharpen it again. The stealth is stealthy. It feels like the game actually encourages this type of playstyle, which does become more apparent throughout the chapters as there are trophies for completing certain sections in the game without alerting enemies. These particular takedowns do feel like they take a long time. I often found myself worried that by the time I've took out the enemy, another enemy is going to spot us. I think it would have been better if we could have actually moved the enemies around during the takedown to help keep us out of view. Also, the enemies just felt way too easy to defeat. The enemies seem a bit docile. Considering I'm playing on the hard difficulty, I would have thought the enemies would be moving around a bit more, making it harder to do stealth. One thing I was not expecting was these incredible views. That's one of the nicest views in a Mafia game. In fact, a lot of games. Just look at that Sicilian sunset. Enzo found a new home, and aren't we glad? It's quite nice to have horse riding in this game other than driving. I think I'm going to be better at the horse riding than I am the driving. I'm not the best at driving in the Mafia games. I'm even worse at races, so as long as there aren't any races, I'll be okay. So naive. As you know, I did end up checking the trophy guide for difficulty related trophies, and that was all. I only actually needed to read the top of the guide to give me all the information I needed to know about the true Saldato trophy. The only other trophy trophy that was important enough to be revealed in this section was Salvatore's apprentice, as this is a missable trophy. So yes, I'm currently unaware of the races in this game. That's right, plural. They keep talking about a race. It better not be what I think. I better not be racing. I then took some time out to try to learn how to pronounce this fancy word. Trinacria. Oh, there's a fox. We had foxes in, was it Angelo's game? Oh, you can buy them. Oh, are these going to be like collectibles? Forgot, you've got charms on here. The game's literally just told me about them and I've forgotten about them already. What charms do I have already? Rusty medallion. Blesses you with a period of invulnerability when you're close to death. That could come in handy. Oh, protected. Equip a charm. Nice. Our good friend Luca must have got wind about our poor filleting skills and in an attempt to not allow us to bring embarrassment to the family, decided to teach us how to get the job done properly. I enjoyed that. Tutorials aren't usually fun, but that one was.
We're late. Come on. The race is starting soon.
If I have to participate in that race, I'll get my blade back out.
We'll have to be quick if we want to watch the race. Andiamo.
He said watch. I think we're safe.
What's the problem?
It's Arnaldo. He's in no state of ride. He's in no state of stand up. Cesare, the imbecile, took our rider as his new drinking partner.
What can we do? I will not forfeit this race.
I can ride on Torrisi.
Of course you can.
We have a rider. Get him ready.
If this is anything like the racing in Mafia 1, I'm done for. It took me 4 months. I had to put the game down and revisit it. Whoa, 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 whoa. Oh no. What does R1 do? Oh.
Let's go, Sanchereste!
Sorry, but how am I actually meant to get ahead? No, 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 no. I'm actually getting a bit of PTSD. I have to do this because if I mess it up on the first race, I've only been playing for like an hour and a half. I can actually see the shine on my face. Heat waves and Mafia races don't go well together. 2 laps. Move. Can I ram people off their horses? Come on. Go. I'm not doing well.
Go, go! Ha!
Oh.
No, 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 no. Oh.
No. I'm really scared I'm gonna get stuck on this. I'm really scared I'm getting stuck. I can't get it off. I literally embarrassed myself. It wasn't long before, you guessed it, another knife fight.
Get back.
Oh my lord. Oh dear.
You shouldn't have come here.
Luca steps in before Enzo carves L'Ombre a new future. Nice. We get a kind of missable trophy for the only optional side mission, which is for meeting up with Isabella. Enzo and the boys bond over running errands for Don Teresi. This includes collecting payments from compliant workers and not so compliant workers.
All right.
This is also the earliest and the best opportunity to unlock the true Salvatore trophy for unlocking a safe without a combination. Once you find the combination, you can reload the save and use it to open the safe, or you could just Google it. The last errand of the day was to squeeze in yet another knife fight. During the mission where we need to find the whiskey, I find my first official fox. Not like the one Pascal was fleecing me for, but when I get my money up, I'm coming for you. Whiskey secured, an ambush survived, and a farmer's stolen water pump retrieved, we get a trophy for learning the ropes.
Who is that?
To Enzo's disappointment, he has to escort the girl he loves to a date with some poncy son of a baron that her father wants her to marry.
It's in the Don's interest for Isabella to spend some time with the Baron's boy.
That's nice, being forced to marry into your father's business deal. And they say romance is dead? It's time to saddle up and get the next trophy for customising a horse. After stealing a moment with Isabella, we reunite with the group and wait for the date to conclude. 2 hours pass and everything goes sideways, as an attempted abduction of Fontanella's son leads to Isabella inadvertently being taken too. A shootout, car chase and horse chase later, we get to Isabella, dispose of the trash and escape a madman with a shotty. And then finally, a big sloppy smooch. While seeking out revenge, I earn my next trophy for finding my first newspaper. I'm a little surprised that I didn't get this earlier on. Then shortly after, another trophy popped for getting my 30th headshot. Something I struggle with in this game is the fact that I massacre my way through the missions with pistols, rifles and shotguns, yet whenever I approach a final boss, Enzo decides that things will go a whole lot smoother without bullets. Enzo man, have you never heard the saying, don't bring a knife to a gunfight? Not only that, but the enemy also seems to think that this is the more logical strategy too. Don't worry, I'm not going to make you watch every knife fight. But it did happen, and we also got the trophy, A Trip to the Coast. In this next bit of stealth, I pick up 2 trophies, one for finding this coin, and another for infiltrating the villa without being spotted. Next we learn, if you don't do as Tino tells you, he gets mad.
Kill this rodent. And you are fucking useless.
Enzo has now done enough to prove himself to the family and now has Cesare pulling him out of bed to follow him and Luca to the Don's cellar, where a bunch of weird occult looking men are stood waiting in a suspiciously dim lit room where Enzo gets his lip slashed so he can bleed out onto a photograph of some saint and take an oath, all in the name of family. I would have just settled for a handshake and a cold one. But no, these Mafia type like to be so theatrical. The Don's new business idea requires us to free a counterfeiter. We also see a familiar face. In fact, 2 familiar faces if you've played Mafia 1. Cause look who I spotted when rummaging around for the code to the safe containing the printing plates. A young Don Salieri. Counterfeiter, printing plates and coitus acquired earns us the trophy lira for lira. I know I don't need to mention it, but just know there was another one. You know, one of these. I'm sorry, but if I have to suffer, so do you. I don't really think you can mess up the next part. Sincerest apologies if you do. I anticipated a struggle, but was surprised at how quick and easy this trophy was. So we're just going into it like that. Is that meant to happen? What's that? What's that? Yes! Time for the main race of the game. The grumbling of that engine definitely gave me flashbacks to the race in the first game. What? I'm already going to be shit at this race. Don't make it harder for me. Again, I don't think you can fail this race unless you are extremely bad or just intentionally trying to fail. The race seems strongly embedded into the actual story sequence as opposed to it being a standalone race like in the original game. As you can see, I'm pretty bad, but I still didn't fail the race. Oh, I'm in first place. Even my face clearly shows I can't quite believe I did it, not only on hard, but for the first time as well, and also completing it in under 8 minutes, which I didn't know was a trophy. Way easier than the first game. I'm in that circle. You know the saying, I feel like I've been hit in the back of the head with a spade? This NPC kind of irked me. I did approach him to find out information about Lorenzetti before going into the office, and he just brushes me off. But then once I'm actually in the office, the same guy literally bursts in, telling me that he needs to talk to me about Lorenzetti. Anyway, we find him. And without alerting anyone, giving me the next trophy. I continue my way through the story, as from this point forward the game became so incredibly gripping I literally couldn't put down the controller. There was a lot of shocking and sad moments, which really gives credit to the incredible storytelling. The layout of Mafia games are pretty similar: love, loss, family and betrayal, but it's the way these stories are told that separate them. As I near the end of the game, I really focus on picking up every weapon dropped, as I still had a handful of rare weapon expert trophies to get. It was a lot of fun going for this one, as it gave the combat some variety. I'm a creature of habit, so had there not been any trophies for this, I'd have stayed using the pistol or something. Continuing on through the chapters, I get a trophy for eliminating 10 cars whilst escaping the Tanara. To focus on reading the trophy. And as I mentioned, there are some extremely sad parts to the story, this being one of them.
If you can. Get up.
Luca! Luca!
Throughout the game, Cesare frequently alluded to the concept of him becoming next in line in the food chain, meaning with Luca now gone, Cesare believes he'll be taking his position.
He's here, Uncle.
Enzo and Cesare's friendship dims when the Don entrusts Enzo with exacting revenge for Luca's death. The effect on Enzo's and Cesare's friendship is paramount.
I have something to discuss with Enzo. I won't say it again.
Things intensify when we learn Isabella is pregnant.
I'm pregnant.
Hastening the need for Enzo to make a decision. Either come clean to the Don about their relationship and baby news, which Isabella is adamant won't end well, or Luca's last wish, get out if they can. We exact revenge for Luca's death the only way we know how, with another one of these. I'm also thinking that maybe Enzo should just stop opening doors. Every time he does, he's attacked. Now I've put that out there, back to the revenge. This makes the Don extremely grateful. I personally thought that this may have been a good time for Enzo to confess his love for Isabella to the Don, as he has done more than enough to prove his loyalty and allegiance to the family. But Isabella knew better.
My father will never forgive me.
And seeing how it plays out shows that it probably would have been futile regardless. It seems that family is only important when it doesn't involve the welfare and happiness of your child. And whilst the Don may love his daughter, he would rather pawn her off to some profitable business deal than see her happy and in love with a man that he trusts and who has killed for the betterment of his empire. The next two trophies are Secret Assassin and Silent Hunter, which pop at the same time since Mazzoni was my 20th kill with a knife takedown, and I did it without alerting his men, which is probably the hardest stealth section in the game. Still easy, but just harder.
Buonanotte.
Two birds, one stone? No, that wasn't the name of the trophy. Considering this is hard difficulty, these missions are not difficult. Can't imagine what it'd be like to play on easy. I was conscious that I hadn't been focusing on the collectibles, but I got so engrossed in the story that I forgot about them. So there will be a big cleanup at the end, yay. But I was frequently checking the guides towards the end to see how on track I was. And that's where I read this post about the mission in chapter 13 where you need to kill Caccino before he reaches the salt flats. To do this easily, it was suggested that as soon as the objective comes up to kill him, ignore him and all of the enemies and go to the left of the area where you can destroy his car before he even gets there, meaning obviously he can't flee, and then you can take him out ASAP. But unfortunately, I was checkpoint locked by the time I had read it, which meant I had to pull on my boots and oh, that was easy. Yeah, so basically guys, it's a piece of cake regardless of your strategy. After taking out the Spadaro holdouts and watching a very unsettling cutscene, which if you didn't already have a bad feeling about Tino, you absolutely will after this, we learn that Enzo, with the help of Leo, has made it to the final stage of his and Isabella's plan to escape. I myself start to worry about the escape and question whether this was the right way to go about things. Even I don't agree with him running off with his daughter.
Leaving without saying goodbye. But your sins may yet be absolved. Your father's made arrangements.
No! No!
Enzo, I love you!
Things completely fall apart, and whilst Tino and Cesare had underlying tones of darkness, this is where we really see Don Teresi's darkness come out.
Because I have a doctor that will wipe every trace of you from this earth. Understand?
And understand why Isabella wanted to escape. A looming volcanic eruption poses as a distraction for Enzo to take his chance to evade Teresi and find a way back to Isabella. After a battle with Cesare, Enzo spares him, hoping Cesare will see reason, and encourages him to choose himself, just like Enzo and Isabella have, and also what Luca wished he could have done. On our way to find Isabella, I get the trophy Bomb Us Away for killing 10 enemies with explosives. It's like 360, it's all just come back to the beginning. As I mentioned, the story became so gripping, I forgot to reference the trophy guide. Had I have remembered to have done this, I would have realised that there is a trophy for the final boss fight with Don Teresi, where you have to defeat him without taking a single hit. Let me tell you, there was plenty of hits taken, so I'll have to go back and replay this one during the cleanup. Ugh, this ending really wound me up. I know not every ending has to or can be happy, but the fact that Cesare could clearly see that the Don is dead, meaning his previous ambitions to become his right-hand man have now become unattainable. This gives Cesare the chance at a do-over. He can become his own man, he can start his own empire, or just leave and choose a new path, but instead, this is what he chooses. And for what? The entire land has been destroyed by the volcano. His friend Luca and boss Don Teresi are dead. The only good thing he had left was his friendship with Enzo and his freedom, but his pride and envy ruled him. What the f***? There's just no need. The Don's dead. Cesare could have just took over and then let Enzo and Isabella get on with their life. What the? Who was he impressing? Like, Teresi's literally dead. This man literally makes my blood boil.
A car is on its way to take you to a doctor. Please, stay away.
I didn't like him from the beginning. Poor Isabella. This cutscene made me sob.
You, please. You're heartless. You're heartless. Why?
Dishonored your father. Shamed this family.
With the ending being what it was, I liked that we got to play as Isabella. Out of all the stealth portions of the game, this part actually felt tense.
Signora, come out of there!
Are they just stupid? Like, their world's basically ending and all they care about is getting her. Like, what does it all matter if you're all dead anyway? No, you idiot. Take the knife with you. It's my girl. This part of the game reminds me of the final fight David and Ellie had in The Last of Us. This was definitely the hardest knife fight. You had to mash square harder and faster than in the previous fights. Which makes sense since you are playing as a character who has never fought before and is going up against someone who has had plenty of experience with this. This is the hardest fight so far. Like, it's actually making me work for the kill. As I've said, the stealth in Isabella's section of the game felt more purposeful and tense, but also the battle between her and Tino felt more impactful, probably because of all the anger we have towards Tino for his part to play in this tragedy. He is a true villain, and he gave that energy early on. I do think the final battle between Enzo and Don Teresi would have been the more predictable ending. But yes, I had plenty of pleasure putting an end to this cretin. Speaking of cretins,
Cesare, where is he?
This last section with Isabella, do you guys feel like you got closure on Enzo's death? I still feel like it was really sudden. I don't know. A part of me is really wishful that maybe Leo finds Enzo and then rescues him, gets him medical attention, and he's actually still alive. Ooh, and they could make a game or a DLC about Enzo going to Empire Bay to find Isabella, and then maybe he seeks out revenge on Cesare. Well, I don't know. I don't think that's part of Enzo's character, to be fair. But maybe Cesare seeks out Enzo, since, you know, he has all to go back to since it's all burnt and that. I don't know, I'm just a sucker for a happy ending. What are your guys' thoughts? How would you have liked the game to have ended? And do you think that there's going to be a game in the future that is a sequel to this game maybe? Before we move on to the cleaner, here's me flipping between deep contemplation and ranting about the ending. For honour, for family. Okay, but she is your family. And you were gonna do all that just because she's in love with someone that's only done great by the family anyway. What did Cesare get from that? The Don is dead. There is no villa to go back to. There is no village or whatever to go back to. The place is burnt. He can't prove himself to the Don because the Don's dead, so it would make him the Don. But what's the point in being the Don when there's nothing to be the Don for? And if it's about honour, Enzo showed that to Cesare, yet Cesare still decided to kill Enzo when given a second chance. Anyway, let's get this cleanup done and dusted. Like I said, I didn't know there was a trophy for defeating the Don without taking a hit, so I had to use chapter select to get this one. It wasn't hard. Thankfully, there are like 2 or 3 checkpoints during the fight, so if you mess up, you don't have to start right from the beginning. And this is the same for playing on hard difficulty. Then I did what any victorious Caruso would do after winning a fight. I pimped my ride. Whilst driving around the map, getting the rest of the collectibles, I did bang up the car quite a bit, which came in handy as I needed to use the crank to repair a broken car. I had to replay a couple of chapters as some of the collectibles were linked to missions, but I used my time wisely and finished the trophy, Live by the Blade. Finally, I find my 50th fox. And then my last Saint card, which was the last item I needed to complete the entire collection, which included collecting all of the newspapers, photographs and the cards. I had a few more cards to purchase from Pascal. I ended up being about 3,000 denarii short. A good farming hack for quick money is to load up chapter 7. As when you gain control of Enzo for the first time after all of the cutscenes, you'll be in an area with 2 loot boxes. Pick them both, reload the checkpoint and pick them both again. Another tip I found that works really well is to equip the charm Fortunato, which grants you more denarii from looting. Another one that pairs quite well is to also equip the Collector, this one, which increases looting speed. Bosh. Once my pockets were nice and heavy, I purchased the remaining cars. The remaining 2 trophies were both centred around driving. No surprise I left those until the end. However, I actually really enjoyed going for these 2 trophies. They were quick and easy. I can't remember what this car is called, but it has a 12 on the back of it. I used this as this was the fastest car. It can reach speeds of up to 182 kilometers, I think it was. I took it to the port at the bottom of the map as there is a long stretch of road which is fairly straight, and boom. My last trophy was for jumping a car over 40 meters. I had a few seconds where I actually thought I had to get my car to jump over another car at 40 meters, but that's not what it meant, which I'm glad because that just sounded really complicated. There are various places I came across to do this at, as you do frequently come across these mud ramps, but I got mine here. I tried using the car I used last time, the one with the 12 on it, but I failed a few times, so I went back to the garage and selected the next best car, the one with the number 7 on it. I'm such an engine head with all the correct names for vehicles. There it is, Daredevil and the Don. Another Mafia Platinum added. Overall, I had fun playing this game. There were some good features, beautiful graphics, and excellent casting. However, this was the 4th installment in the series, and the story just lacked originality. Something that was authentic was the art and sound style. I thoroughly enjoyed playing in 1900 Sicily. The visuals, the music, the buildings, weapons and cars, they all fit really well into the time period, but it did have its faults. As you saw, 5 minutes into the game, there were bugs. Considering it's been 9 years since the last Mafia, I expect the game to be polished. For a recommended retail price of $44.99, it is cheaper than a lot of new releases today, but it was also shorter and easier to complete. Therefore, you may feel like it doesn't warrant the full price tag. If you're unsure, just wait for a sale. It's definitely not a disappointment to the series and is still worth playing. If I had to rate it out of 5, I'd have to give it a 3.5 star rating. If you've made it this far, thanks for watching, and also don't forget to comment what your ideal ending to the game would have been, and I'll see you in the next one.